This bottle cost me well over $100 and I rated it a 5. This bottle right here cost me 50 bucks and I would buy it again tomorrow. Okay, if you've ever chased hype, overpaid, or just stared at a bourbon shelf wondering if it's worth it, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Corey. I'm the president and CEO of 2 whiskey-focused nonprofits. I've hosted dozens of blind tastings, I've done dozens of barrel picks, and I've learned that sometimes the best pour is the one you absolutely did not expect. So today I'm gonna give you 7 smarter swaps, bourbons that you can actually find and that beat the hype in both flavor and in price. Let's start with a bottle that taught me this lesson the hard way. And this one actually used to be a hidden gem. This one used to sit on the shelves for 40 bucks, and now it's going for $250 on the secondary market on average, and it's absolutely not worth it. And I get it, it's got the Pappy mash bill, it's got a 12-year age statement, but there's a serious problem. It is 90 proof wheated bourbon, and you're gonna spend up to $250 bucks for something that offers very little complexity. But with a lot less effort, you can find this bottle right here. It's Rebel 10. It's 100 proof wheated bourbon. It's got a 10-year age statement. It's got that same soft bready flavor profile. And I think for 90 bucks, you can find it in almost any market. And if it's not in your local market, you could probably just go online. I did a quick search and found it at quite a few places and just get it shipped to you. The point is you can find this bottle without hunting on secondary for 90 bucks, or you can go find this bottle at a lower proof and what I believe to be a lot less complex for 200 to 250 bucks. And I just don't think there's a comparison in flavor between the two. The Rebel 10 absolutely blows the Weller 12 out of the park. I've blinded them. I think I still have a video of me blinding these two, and Rebel 1 hands down. It's just a more complex and a better bourbon, and you're getting it for technically half the price. Now, if you find this for 40 or 50 bucks, sure, this is a good buy, but I don't think many of you out there are finding this for 40 or 50 bucks unless you're lucky in a lottery. So if that's not the case, then Rebel 10 wins hands down. And even if they're both the same price, when I blind them, Rebel 10 wins. It's the better pour. And now for the bottle you've all been waiting for, and why I didn't start with this, who knows, but it is Blanton's. It is a beautiful bottle. I think we can all agree. It's the bottle that launched 1,000 tater shelves, and I'm not judging. I was right there with you. So it is, I think it's become the poster child for bourbon hype, and it's kind of wild. People wait hours to get this. They spend a godly amount of money chasing these toppers to finish the same Blanton's for 93 proof bourbon. That's just good and wildly inconsistent. But Bluffalo Trace is good. Blanton's is generally good, but it is not worth the hype that's been given to it. So here's what I'll grab instead. I'll grab the Russell Single Barrel, aged 8 to 10 years from the Camp Nelson warehouse. I can't get it in focus. There we go. And it comes in at like 65 bucks. So at that price, it's a sledgehammer of a value. When you're talking about what you probably have to pay for this, there's no comparison between the two. This one's sitting at 110 proof. It's packing tons of flavor. It's got great age. So 100%, this is what I'm turning to instead of Blanton's. And bonus, you don't have to chase the toppers. And honestly, if you like this flavor profile, you'll find tons of these. This is ours, the Cask Collective's single barrel that we just released. And I'm not saying grab this one, but I'm saying wherever you're at, there's probably tons of Russell single barrels that offer an amazing flavor, and they've been hand selected by someone. And if you know that person and your palate's aligned, then you can buy with confidence as well. So there's a lot of options out there beyond this from the single barrel lineup that are better than Blanton's, and you don't have to chase the unfindable bottle with the beautiful horsey. This next one is fun. It's the Willett Purple Top, and it's a beautiful bottle in itself. But I don't know what it is now, but it used to be that every year was $100 on secondary market. So you're talking, if this is a 6, I have a 10-year up there, you're talking $600 to $1,000. If you get your hands on a 15-year, $1,500 for this bottle. And don't get me wrong, some of these bottles are absolutely amazing. But here's the thing, they vary wildly. I've had bottles I absolutely loved, and then I've had bottles that I never, ever, ever go back to. And beyond that, unless you're connected, you're not gonna find one unless you pay the absolute max secondary value. Okay, so let me introduce you to a bottle that gets almost no attention. Hersh Single Barrel Double Oak. All right, at 124 proof, this bottle is really, really good. And I'm probably gonna irritate quite a few people because I think this is somewhat of a best kept secret. And I honestly don't know how much I can tell you. So I'm going to just do one thing for you. I'm gonna read the mash bill. The mash bill is 72% corn, 13% rye, and 15% barley. You can go do your research. And I'm telling you, everyone that I've had try this bottle, you can see this is our second bottle, has absolutely loved it and I mean, ran out the door basically to go find a bottle for themselves. So if you find this, or if you want to go look online, because I did before I started this video, it is available for probably around 80 to 100 bucks, and grab it. I'd love to hear in the comments, because I honestly think you're going to be thanking me. And if you're really upset that I'm telling people about this, I apologize. But the point of this channel is to tell people, you know, where the good stuff is, so they don't start chasing stuff that's almost impossible to find. And I like supporting businesses like Hersh. They've been really, really kind to me in the past. We almost did a single barrel with them I was really excited about. And I hope in the future that we have the opportunity to make it work. But this is probably one of my favorite all-time bottles. And when you're talking about something like Purple Top that's impossible to find, I think when you present a bottle like this that, yes, is also hard to find, but is much easier to find at a much more reasonable price, I think it's a really good alternative. So I'm very curious to hear y'all's thoughts. If it's that I'm an idiot and I shouldn't be presenting bottles like that on a list like this, that's fine too. So I'll listen with ears wide open. But that bottle right there is one of my all-time favorite bottles. So with that, let's move on to Booker's. And Booker's used to be a deal. It was one of my first bottles I ever got gifted to me from my father-in-law. I think it was after I graduated college, and I really enjoyed it. It was a decent price, probably. I'm sure it was still expensive, but at the time I think it offered value. But now it's just expensive and hot. And I'm not trying to be a Booker's hater. I just have not had a good batch in a very long time. And when there are so many alternatives to something that's offering a 6-year age statement, it's easy to pass almost every single time. So you won't find me hunting a Booker's. This is 2021-03 batch. That's the last batch that I have bought. I have had many people pour me some of the newer batches, and some of them have been okay. But like I said, at 90 bucks, at 6 years, it's a no for me. So with that said, I'm grabbing Knob Creek 12-year. This at 100 proof offers a way more balanced flavor profile. If you're looking for that peanut funk, it has that, but it wraps it in brown sugar, tobacco, a little bit of oak. It is just a well-balanced bourbon, way more so than I believe Booker's is putting out. At a higher age statement and a lower price point at 65 to 75 bucks, it's the buy. There's no comparison in my opinion. And until Booker starts offering some value, either in age, price, and flavor, then every day of the week I'm gonna go and I'm gonna snag the Knob Creek 12-year. And I think if you haven't had this, it's worth a shot. It's gonna be easier to find, and I honestly think that you'll probably enjoy the flavor in most cases a lot more than the Booker's that you've been hunting. Next up is one of my all-time favorite bourbons. It is the Four Roses limited edition small batch. And I'm not gonna lie, it is absolutely fantastic and you should grab one. But the honest truth is, good luck finding one. This LE drops every fall, and it's both balanced and complex, and it's genuinely special. But you gotta win the lottery, camp out, or spend over $300 to get your hands on this bottle. But there is an alternative that is much easier to find, and that is the Four Roses single barrel proof picks. And although limited, this is wildly more available than the limited edition that's released every fall. And I think this is a perfect representation of what Four Roses is all about. And if you don't know about the recipes that Four Roses offers, maybe I'll do a separate video on that altogether. But when we did our single barrel selection about 6 months ago, you sit down and you get to try all 10 recipes. And that's changing mash bill and yeast and varying factors that make up Four Roses whiskey. You blind them, and then whatever comes out on top, that's the whiskey you take home. At least that's the way it should be done, and that's the way we did it. And you get to bring home a bottle that perfectly represents what you love about Four Roses the most. And hopefully your palate aligns with those that you're providing it to. And so if you're looking for a Four Roses limited edition, release that's going to be near impossible to find, there are tons of bottles out there that have been hand selected for their qualities. And you can hopefully learn a little bit about those bottles either by reading the label and understanding the recipe, and or the people that are releasing them talking about what that bottle offers as far as flavor is concerned. And you're looking at a much lower price point, probably around 80 to 100 bucks. I think 109 might be the new price point for the Four Roses single barrels, but they are fantastic. The one that we just released a few months ago, it sold out right away, but it was OBSO. And most of us thought we were OBSV or OBSK, and come to find out that the entire group absolutely loved what OBSO was doing for the whiskey. So we selected it because it was the best one. We didn't chase proof or anything like that. And it came out at about a 10-year age statement. It was a tier 6, so it was on top of the warehouse. So it had all these different characteristics that we believe went into making such a fantastic whiskey. So this is an option that I absolutely love. This is not one of those selections where I'm saying don't get this because it's not worth it. If you can find this for MSRP, this bottle is absolutely worth it. But for a little bit less and a little easier to find, you can grab this Four Roses run right here. This one's an OBSK right here. So this next one up may cause a little bit of controversy, and that's Stag, formerly known as Stag Junior. But this bottle is absolutely delicious. It delivers everything you want out of a Buffalo Trace product. I will not deny that. The problem is you either have to sell a kidney or get lucky as hell to get your hands on a bottle of Stag. And if you want to go even further and talk about getting the BTAC collection, George C. Stag, it's near impossible. Both of these bottles at MSRP are fantastic buys. So I will preface this pick by saying if you can find it at actual MSRP, you should buy it. They're fantastic. They offer a lot of flavor. They offer a lot of value. But I'm going to go off the premise that you're not walking into a store every day and seeing Stag on the shelf. So I offer a really, really good alternative that's kind of new to the scene. And it's one that I was a little bit skeptical about, and I've actually just picked up my second bottle. So with that said, I will show you the alternative, which is Smoke Eye Hill Blue Corn Bourbon. And this one's at 134 proof. I was fortunate enough to get another bottle before this, and I blinded it against Stag. Be very honest with you, I could tell right away which one was which. So even knowing that this pour was Stag and this pour was Smoke Eye, I was torn. They both offer a very complex and balanced flavor profile. It's really similar in what they're delivering, but they are very different in flavor, if that makes sense. So they both offer a ton of proof, but they do it in a balanced and complex way that's actually really enjoyable. So I was fortunate enough to get one bottle. I picked up my next one once that one was gone after sharing it. And although I don't think that Smoke Eye will win every blind against every Stag, I think that it will win some. And I think it's a fantastic alternative to Stag that's almost impossible to find. And the fact that there's craft distilleries hitting the market with whiskey that's competing with Stag, I think is a great development for the whiskey and bourbon community, because it's giving us alternatives and it's making these distilleries be a little bit more purposeful in how they produce their whiskey so that they can meet the value that we're demanding without paying these astronomical prices that are just not worth it, right? And I'm not saying Stag is doing that. Like I said, Stag at MSRP is a buy. But now we have another bottle that I believe at its price point, which is a little bit higher, I think, as a craft distiller, probably 80 or 90, is definitely a buy. So if you cannot find Stag and you're fortunate enough to be in a location that is distributing Smoke Eye, I would go ahead and grab it. I do think that they're shipping as well. So this is a fantastic alternative to the elusive Stag Junior, or now Stag. So let's end with a bottle that everyone wants, and then one that offers 80% of it for about a tenth of the price. Pappy Van Winkle. It's a legend. Wheated bourbon, age statements from 15 to 23 years, 107 proof, gorgeous nose, and iconic status. But unless you're incredibly lucky or incredibly wealthy, it's not happening. Even Lot B is pushing incredible prices nowadays on the secondary market. So here's what I actually buy and pour instead. It's the Maker's Mark Cask Strength at 110 proof, uncut, full flavored. It's a wheated with the same general flavor profile, soft, wheat, sweetness, vanilla, oak. It's got a little more punch at 110 proof and just a lot less fanfare. And you can take it a step further. If you're able to find these, which have become actually pretty findable, grab yourself one of the limited releases from Maker's Mark. This is the 2025 Keepers Edition. And although it's not Pappy, it's not trying to be, but it is a really, really, really flavorful, balanced, and enjoyable wheated bourbon. And I think that, honestly, I've had the 15, I've had the 20, I've had the 23. I don't know. I might enjoy this sometimes more than I would enjoy a 15. I'm not saying that the 15 is not good, but this offers a really, really, really enjoyable flavor profile that I think many of you would really, really enjoy. So like I said, this is their limited release 2025. I've seen it on store shelves sitting for weeks. The Cask Strength Maker's Mark wheated right here is going to be easily findable, I believe, in almost every market across the country and honestly probably the world. Maker's Mark is one of the largest distilleries of whiskey in the world. So I think You'll have a very, very easy time finding either one of these if you look at your local store or online. But I understand, not Pappy, but these are fantastic alternatives to the elusive Pappy Van Winkle that I honestly do not believe is worth anything near the hype that it gets. Okay, let's go ahead and recap which bourbons I would swap. I would swap Rebel 10 for Weller 12. I would swap Russell's Reserve Single Barrel for Blanton's. I would swap Hersh Double Oak for Willett Purple Top. I would swap Knob Creek 12 for Booker's. I would swap 4 Roses Single Barrel for 4 Roses Limited Edition, and I recommended OBSV, OBSO, and OBSK. And I would swap Smoke Eye Hill Blue Corn Bourbon for Stag Jr. or Stag. And then finally, I would swap Maker's Mark Cask Strength or the Limited Edition Heart Release for Pappy. So go ahead and save the Pokemon hunt. These bottles are findable and they're fantastic. But here's the real truth. I have found way more joy in those $40 to $60 underdog bottles than I have those $100, $200 hype pours. And you're welcome to ask me any questions you may have in the comments about a this or that, and I'm happy to answer from my experience which one I would pick. I appreciate you watching. I got tons more coming. I got behind the scenes single barrel picks. I got some blind tastings. I got some more of those silly videos that I put out that I think bring a little bit of levity to this channel because it is just bourbon and it's fun. And if we're not joking about it, then I think we're taking ourselves a little too seriously. And like I said before, if you got any swap picks I missed, put them in the comments because the community is going to get a ton of value out of hearing your opinion about what would be a better swap for a bourbon or whiskey that's really unfindable or overpriced. But with that, I'm going to end there. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.